This episode of the Barry Chronicles is proudly brought to you by Bariatric Support Australia.
Hi everybody, I'm Tash.
And I'm Damo.
And together we are so excited to bring you this week's episode of
The
Barry Chronicles.
Oh my goodness.
Damo, how amazing is this?
This is incredible.
So we are finally, after a long, long time, we're in a studio.
So cool.
Very, very, very cool.
We've got awesome one.
We do.
Incredible room.
Great lighting.
I feel like I'm at home.
Happiness. Coffee. Of course, we have good coffee. Well, coffee because we have protein. We have coffee. But yes, this is awesome.
Yes.
Anyway, today, what are we talking about today, Dan?
So today, I want to discuss how do we choose a dietitian?
Yes, it is one of the most, I think, one of the most important decisions that we actually make. Obviously, we choose our surgeon. Hopefully we have.
I think you need to be closer because I think it's actually coming through as my. Maybe just move it to the very. I mean, it doesn't matter if the microphone's in the.
Yeah. So do we need to do that again?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, let's go again.
I'll just move your camera back a bit. Take a bit of getting used to. Yeah, keep recording.
Hi everybody, I'm Tash.
And I'm Damo.
And we are so excited to bring you this week's episode of
The Barry Chronicles. Tash, how amazing is this?
It is incredibly cool, Damo. It has been a long time coming, but we are in a studio.
I love it.
Me too. I'm just so very, very grateful. We have some other exciting updates that we'll be bringing in the coming weeks. But this is just a wonderful first step for the Barry Chronicles. And we really want to thank you, the wonderful people that have been listening in and that support us. You're really incredible. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Yeah, me too.
I love the whole feel. There's amazing staff that work here and they bring us our coffees with protein. Cold water.
Yeah. It's just
great.
Lovely. Very, very lovely.
So today,
yes,
I thought we could talk about how we would choose a bariatric dietitian. Because when I had my weight loss surgery, I didn't get a choice.
Yeah.
There were just dietitians. There weren't really any that specialised in it. Whereas now we have got so much choice.
We do.
But how do we actually go about picking someone who's
just a sec, because you're looking here, like you're looking there.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to move? Do you want me to move a bit? Do you want to?
No, I'll make sure I'm looking.
All right. So today we are talking about how to choose a bariatric dietitian.
I'm really excited about this because when I had my surgery, I didn't get a choice.
Yeah.
It was a case of, here's a dietitian, go to them.
Here is your choice.
Yes. This is what you choose.
This is who you choose, and you will choose this, and that will be that. Thankfully, we have come a little bit of a way down the track since then. Even since I had my surgery, and mine was, well, we're coming up on 6 years ago. Things have changed a bit.
Yes, they have.
And that's a good thing.
So I think the first thing that we need to be asking when we're looking at a dietitian, I guess a lot of surgeons are going to have someone that they recommend, if not someone that they work with. But there's still a lot that they don't actually have a dietitian in their practice.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, for so many of us, we get into trouble because we think, okay, I need a dietitian. Where's the yellow pages for you young people? That's used to be a great big book full of numbers, phone numbers and businesses. Now we just Google it.
Yeah, now we just Google.
Yes.
Or we jump on Insta, or we jump into Facebook groups and we look around and we see who other people are recommending and stuff like that. But yeah, not all surgeons have a multidisciplinary team. Not all surgeons have an allied health team around them. So it's just good to know that, just to be aware of that. And if they don't have a team on site, to find out who the surgeon's recommending.
Yeah. So we really need to be looking for someone who specialises in bariatric nutrition.
It's very, very important. We are by no means, obviously, experts on dietetics or anything like that. That is a specialised field. That is a specialised field of study that requires years and years at university, and it requires years of monitored practice afterwards as well. So it's very, very important to understand the qualifications of the person that's going to be helping you, because it's such a powerful and wonderful type of relationship to have when somebody is able to really walk you through the steps that you need to be taking in order to be as well as you can be and be as healthy as you can be, and just get that nutrition side of things right.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to ask you, because you've been actually studying dietetics at university. So, what about a nutritionist?
Look,
aren't they the same thing?
There's different levels of any of those types of qualifications, and certainly you can become a nutritionist via a university degree, but you can also have a qualification in that through a shorter course, something like that. And it's very important to understand where the person that is giving us guidance is coming from, what their background is, where their qualifications lie, what their interests and specialities are. And that way we can, again, just get that really excellent advice. We can know that they're coming from a perspective that aligns with our health goals and where we're hoping to go. And I've just found for myself that bariatric specific people to help us with nutrition can be a little bit difficult to find. It's not really the same as just going to any dietitian that you might happen to be able to look up.
So do you think, because I sort of grew up with the, you didn't really question health professionals because
we definitely grew up with that.
Up on a higher plane. But do you think it's all right now for us to ask where they studied, how they studied?
I think that it's really important. I don't think it's just a case of is it okay? I think that in order for us to do our due diligence and understand the person that we're in essence employing to help us, I think it's vitally important that we understand where they're coming from and what their background is. And I think that if we're going to get the most out of any relationship, it's really good to be able to feel free to have a backwards and forwards conversation so that not only can our dietitian understand us, but we can also understand where they're coming from. So I think it's very important and very empowering. And also it's nice to take an interest in our dietitian and understand them and ask them questions about, you know, where they studied, what their passions are, and those sorts of things. And I think that that when we come into that kind of a relationship and we really do believe that they are there to help us and empower us, I think that they're the kind of questions that we can ask and that we should ask.
Do you think that builds a better sort of relationship when you feel like you can ask those questions, like those sort of personal questions of some sort of professional, but then maybe that might sort of free us up to share some of our more,
I think so,
difficult to share?
Yeah, look, I think one of the big things I think that's changed in healthcare just over probably even the last 10, 15 years is that for me anyway, the pedestal type of mentality that I had all healthcare professionals on, I've had to shift that perception in my mind, and I go into appointments with a real belief that it's okay for me to ask questions pertaining to my care and the kind of outcome that I'm hoping to achieve. And in order for me to understand that, then it's okay for me to say, hey, so I understand you have a degree in dietetics. Where did that come from? What are the things that you're passionate about? How did you come to want to study that particular type of degree?
Yeah.
What was it that propelled you to be interested in bariatrics and things like that? And for me, if a professional wasn't willing to answer that, I think I'd probably be a little bit I'd probably be looking for somebody that I felt like I could have that type of relationship with. Now, not everybody's the same. Not everybody would go into those kind of appointments and want that sort of back and forth. But for me, I know that I will get more out of that type of an appointment if I feel like I can ask questions as well, not just be told information. So that's just something that I really value.
Because it seems that we've really sort of gone away from just accepting at face value, being told this is what you have to do. I know for me, I want to know why I should do it.
Yeah, ask why. It is very, very important that we understand why we do things. For me anyway, I really value being able to understand why. I've always been I've always been that person. I can remember as a kid, it was always but why. I was definitely a but why kind of a kid.
Yeah.
And my own children are very much but why kids. And so I suppose I've had a few years to really think about that and accept that that's part of who I am. So I want to be able to have answers that make sense to me and that I understand. And that's, I think, what really prompted a lot of change in me and in my understanding of the importance of nutrition. It came from all of those but why type questions. And I think that if we can ask those and really get answers that we understand, then it can change our lives. Because it's in the understanding of that relationship with food and with nutrition that I believe I've been able to find so much more freedom than what I used to have. And I believe that it is probably the thing that has made the biggest impact on the way that I eat now is all of those but why questions that I've been able to have answered.
Yep. Amazing.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it really does. I think it's empowering when we know why we're doing something.
Yeah.
Not just, here's the information, now off you go.
Yeah.
Now, what about things like availability? Is that important that, like if you are having an issue that, we need to sort of be out of contact?
Yeah, well, what do you think, Damo? I mean, for me, I guess it's like any kind of relationship, any kind of appointment. I want to know when I'm going into something what I can expect. So I would like to be able to know when I go into my consultations with a dietitian, if I'm having a difficulty, then how do we go about that? Am I able to email you? Am I able to phone the office? I like to set all of those things up early on so that I know what I can expect, and so that it's very clear, so that basically I know that I'm going to be supported in the way that I feel I need to be supported.
Yeah, years ago, I just accepted that you ask things at your appointment, and if you didn't have an appointment for, say, 3 months, well,
too bad.
Sucks to be you.
Too bad, too sad.
I've spoken with
You're going to be very hungry then.
Yeah, definitely. Or very malnutrition,
yes, or whatever it might be.
Or you could easily regain, 10 kilos in 3 months.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've spoken to some amazing dietitians that actually have active, like Facebook communities. There's some that I've spoken to that, they're happy to take emails from their clients.
Yeah, how amazing is that?
And they actually reply to those emails, which I'm just like, wow.
High five.
My original surgeon, he was great, but I sent him an email. It was just after my surgery, so in 2014. I still haven't got a reply. I'm holding out hope. We're looking at 10 years ago. To me, it's sort of at a point where that sort of thing is important, that we can fire those questions off, and hopefully within a couple of days we'll get the reply to that. I don't expect one straight away because they have lives, they have other clients.
That's right.
I would like to know that if I send an email, that at some point I know I'm going to get a response.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that when it comes to making that initial consult that we have with our dietetics team, it's really important in that appointment to ask those sorts of questions. If I need to reach out, if I have a question, what is the best way for me to contact you? How long can I expect to be waiting for a response? I understand that you're very busy. I just so that I know.
Yeah.
And
I think to a lot of people that is important.
Yeah, I think it is too. And if you're feeling a bit shy or whatever about asking those kinds of things, don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. It's okay for us to set for our team to set our expectations, so that we leave our appointment with a good understanding of how to contact them, of what to do in case of an emergency. Things happen after bariatric surgery. I know for me, I did not expect some of the things that happened in those first 6 weeks. And being able to reach out, knowing where to reach out to, is so, so important.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm.
I remember I just joined a Facebook support group, and I asked a question, and I was left with a number of responses. Ask your dietitian. Ask your dietitian. And they're thinking, well, it's Saturday. My dietitian works Monday to Friday, and even if I do email, I'm not going to get a response from them until my appointment, which wasn't for a couple of months. And I remember thinking at the time, well, I would ask my bloody dietitian if I could ever speak to them.
Mm.
And I think that for me has changed, and knowing that there are a lot of fantastic dietitians that do offer that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much to sort of go, okay, well, does this person offer that? And if not, are they willing to? And if not, then maybe I need to look at other options.
Yeah, then who else can I see? I think that all of that's really very, very reasonable. And there's also wonderful sources that we can go to online, very reputable bariatric dietitians that speak into that particular space. And if you search up and look up questions, then there are a lot of commonly asked questions that have possibly been answered.
Yeah.
And we can certainly, in a desperate emergency type of a situation, probably get some sound information that way. But of course, nothing beats having the information that is specific for you from your health team and your group of professional people that are helping you specifically.
Yeah.
So, there's a place for reaching out and just needing help and support, but for those kinds of questions that require proper medical advice, you need to be reaching out to your team.
Yeah, definitely.
And
because they're the ones with all the information.
They are.
They know what surgery I had. They know that, they've got my last lot of blood tests. They've got access to all of it. Hopefully
they do.
And hopefully they're an up-to-date blood test.
Yes, that's right. Hopefully we're doing all of those things.
Because we've got to play our part as well, hey. We've got to, make sure that we're supplying our team with the latest information about us so that they can help us make the best choices.
Could we talk about that for a minute, actually? Because it's such an interesting topic. Now, I know prior to my weight loss surgery, when I had seen a dietitian a couple of times, I lied my ass off. I just lied my ass off because I was sitting in this office with this gorgeous person who had all of this knowledge about food and about nutrition. And I can so vividly remember looking down at myself going, oh my God, why did I come here? Surely they are looking at me thinking, oh, she's terrible or whatever. And so I started making up or leaving out things from the information that I was giving. And I don't know why I did. Well, I do know why I did that. I felt a deep sense of shame at the time. I felt so incredibly ashamed of myself. But the only person that I was shortchanging in that situation was me, because without proper information, without them knowing my proper circumstances and the things that I was eating and all of those things, they're not able to assist me.
Yeah.
So can I really encourage you when it comes to pre and post-op appointments with our team, let's be honest with them.
Yep.
There is nothing that you will say that they haven't already heard.
Yep.
And they want to help us.
Yeah. That's great advice. I remember just after I'd had my accident at work, fractured my pelvis. I was being treated for PTSD.
Mm.
And my psychologist, he thought I was doing great because I knew what to say to make it sound like I was doing really good. And I remember sitting there one day and I was in so much pain and just had enough of all the crap. And I remember telling him how much alcohol I'd been drinking because I've been telling him everything that I had been, telling him most of the things that I had been doing, but it was easier to leave out a couple of things. Like, the nearly bottle of spirits that I was drinking a day.
Yeah.
And I remember when I said it, it looked like someone had slapped him in the face. And he said to me, Damo, when did this start? I said, about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And he said, but you said that you were doing so well. I'm like, I told you what you wanted to hear. And that conversation set off a series of events that for the next week I was pissed off with my psychologist because he got off the phone to me and he rang my GP. He rang my psychiatrist. He rang my pain specialist. There was 2 or 3 other people that were involved in my treatment. He rang them all. And the next day I started getting phone calls. Pain specialist wants to see you. We've made an emergency appointment. Psychiatrist wants to see you. We've made an emergency appointment. And I was so annoyed with him that he'd done that. But after about a week, and after seeing all these other specialists again, I sort of realised that I wasn't angry with him. I was angry with myself for not telling him sooner.
And all he wanted to do was help you.
Yeah.
And as soon as he had the accurate and truthful information, he was then able to spring into action and do the things that were needed to help you.
Yeah. And he coordinated the whole lot. And as hard as that was, that's when my real healing actually started.
Yeah. And I firmly believe that my relationship with food began to heal under the care of a wonderful dietitian who was caring enough to see me and the pain and the angst that I had around food and was able to assist me and help me. But I had to be honest about the way that I used food.
Yeah.
It was never food is one of those things that we have to have every day, isn't it? But
it's sort of the one addiction that we can't sort of do the 12-step program and, okay, I'm never touching it again.
Yes, exactly right. So the healing for me began when I was willing to be just completely honest and accept the help that I needed. So can I just really encourage you that if it is an area that you struggle in, just to be as honest as you can be with the professionals that you bring into your space so that they're able to help you.
Yeah. Because especially the ones like for bariatric patients, and when we find a bariatric dietitian, what I've come to realise is that they have paid out of their own pockets to learn what they have learned about bariatrics because it's not included in the university courses.
Yeah, it's just such a small part of a degree if it's in there at all. So these people that are specializing in this field, it's because they they genuinely are wanting to make a difference in that particular space. And I think that it's really valuable to ask those questions to find out, how much experience do you have with bariatric people and those types of things as well. I think that that's a really good thing to ask if you're confident to do that. I was prior as well, though my confidence has definitely grown in the years since my weight loss surgery. But these are really important and really empowering relationships, and they can make such a difference. They can. I remember just little tweaks along the way, just little things along the way that that my dietitian was able to pick up on that have helped. And if we hadn't have had that honest backwards and forwards, then my outcomes could have been different.
Yeah, because those nutrition requirements, when we've had weight loss surgery, I think we have a smaller window to get it right before we might be having too much of something, not enough, and it can affect us a lot easier than pre-weight loss surgery. We have sort of a bit more play before things really affect our nutrition levels and what's going on. And that's where we need a dietitian with experience that we can be open and honest with, because they understand those nuances and those really intricate macro points that we need to be hitting. And I know we don't all want to be sitting there counting macros. That's what we can have the dietitian for, but that's where we have to actually be honest with the dietitian. Yeah. It's fine to have one of those calorie counters on our phone, but if we don't enter in everything that we're having, then it's only giving us limited accuracy.
Yeah, that's right. Another thing that I think really is an issue, particularly in the bariatric space or in our space, is the fact that so often, I know this is true for me, I definitely had disordered eating difficulties.
Yep.
And they don't just go away because we have weight loss surgery. It requires those really wonderful allied health professionals to help us with those things. And one of the hardest things for me was the fact that I needed to be in those early months and in the first year, 18 months particularly, really counting my protein amount so that I knew what I was having. And that can even set off and in some instances trigger things.
Yeah.
So it really is very important during that time to have that good relationship with the dietitian to be able to discuss and work through those types of issues. So now, how that kind of stuff looks for me nearly 6 years down the line is that I now have a framework that I eat within. And it's not about meticulous counting and things like that, but it's about an understanding of the foods that I commonly eat and a little framework that we've established so that I stay within those particular guidelines, and I know then that I'm going to be okay. When you do those things in conjunction with people that really do understand, that's when we can really live an empowered life that is free of those particular things that we might find triggering. And it's been so helpful to me. So usually when we go in for that initial consultation, there's backwards and forwards, and our dietitians will of course ask us questions, and sometimes there's a pack that's given to us as part of the service that we can expect with bariatrics, and sometimes there's our list of foods that we can have for our preoperative time, and then there might be a list of things that we should have or could consider having during liquids, and then puree and soft foods and so on.
Yep.
Sometimes we might need to ask our dietitians, or can you please be more specific? Can you help me understand how this needs to look for me on a day-to-day basis? Because for me, I felt very overwhelmed by the big list.
Yeah.
And it was really important for me to have a little bit more hand-holding.
Yep.
I needed that. And it's okay to ask for that.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I know a lot more now about nutrition and all that sort of stuff, but if I was just given this big shopping list of things to buy for healthy eating, I could find a way to turn it into something that was unhealthy for me and no longer really that nutritional. And that's where I needed the help. I knew how to deep fry any vegetable.
Yeah.
And I had to change the way I looked at even preparing my food.
Mm.
And, it's all right to need help because we don't know everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that's why we pay people who know more than we do in certain areas to teach us what we need to know.
Yeah, to help. And in all of that, now, again, all these years down the track, I don't believe in good and bad food. I believe that food is food. I believe that it's how we use the food that can be, in my case, problematic. So I have had to work on that aspect. I do believe in moderation. I also believe that we need to understand that sometimes, particularly in the early stages, moderation can, for some people, be incredibly difficult and triggering. It was for me. I stayed away from certain things because I knew that I would not be able to stop myself. And sometimes there's wisdom in that as well. And that's been a growing and unfolding relationship. This is again why it's so important for us to get our advice from people that are professionals in their field and who know our specific circumstances.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see things online and all of that, and it's wonderful to support each other online. It's very disempowering, though, to assume that what somebody else is doing will be perfect for me, because that just might not be the case.
Yeah. I think there was a dietitian that we were talking to not all that long ago, and they said something along the lines of, Damo, if you wanted to have that chocolate bar, we can show you how to fit that into your day without it throwing you out for the rest of the week.
Mm.
And I think that is so empowering, and it's such a good thing to be in touch with these people, because we shouldn't go into a shame spiral every time we eat something.
That's exactly right.
So getting that education on, yes, I can do it, and no, I don't have to feel bad about it.
And this is how I do it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that changes our lives.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to have that good relationship and that open communication so that we can grow to that place where we're eating the things that we want to eat and we have freedom with our food, which is what, let's face it, it's what all of us want. We just want to be able to live our lives, to not have to be focusing every single minute and all of our energy on what we're having every moment of the day. And
100%.
And that's let's have freedom with our food. Let's have that healthy relationship with our dietitian so that we can really just joyfully go through life and enjoy being in healthy bodies.
Thank you so much for your candor today.
That's okay, Damo.
It's been great.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
And we want to thank everyone for joining us, for listening, for supporting us.
Thank you so much.
And have a great week.